Sup everybody, hope all of y'all are doing undeniably fan-freaking-tastic out there. This episode of My Dear Letters is going to be playing a little bit differently, alright? This is the first and hopefully not the only reply edition for My Dear Letters. Now, I've talked about this on my channel for a little bit, but we now live in a day and time where AI is doing a lot. And recently, I got a little bit curious about the power of AI and how I could use it with SSP. And I've had this one series on my channel now that has basically been around since the inception of self-standard programming, and that's called My Dear Letters, where I write letters to sometimes fictional characters just for the fun of it, alright? But now, thanks to the power of AI, I can kind of get actual responses to the letters I've written in the past. So that's what I've done today. I took a look at some of my past My Dear Letters episodes. I picked 4 videos from the series, and I got 4 reply letters that I can read today. Now, normally for My Dear Letters, I'm always the one writing, but now, in this case, let's suspend our imagination for a little bit and say, yeah, these characters are writing to me now. Alright, so I'm ready to read these letters for you right quick. So, but, y'all, I'm not about to replay the past My Dear Letters episodes for this video. I mean, come on, like, I gotta entice you viewers to go and watch the original video somehow. Like, come on, dude. Alright, so this first letter comes from none other than Gotham City's Joker. Alright, I did write a My Dear Letters episode to Joker, and I think that was my 100th or 200th upload. I don't remember. But yeah, this letter is from the Joker. Dear James, oh how delightful it is to be adored by a kindred spirit. Your words dance like flames in a circus tent, and I can't help but chuckle. The idea of me as Gotham's jester, absolutely splendid. Who wouldn't want to be more of a killer clown of that big red balloon floating in the sewers? Pennywise? Oh, please. He's just a warm-up act for the real showman, of course. Now, can you picture it? Wes Craven crafting a Batman tale? It would be a delicious nightmare. The dark shadows, the menacing music, and yours truly, of course, wreaking even more glorious havoc. I can already hear the laughter echoing in the halls of horror. As for New York, the Big Apple does sound like the perfect place to spread my brand of madness. Can you imagine swinging through the streets playing tag with that wall crawler? Oh, the mayhem we create together. But I'd have to make sure he doesn't steal my limelight, right? And switching colors, now that's a riot. Purple hair with the green suit? What a splendid twist. May I go for a lavender tux with the fiery green shoes? Value with a dash of insanity. Then again, isn't it much better to keep them guessing? Thank you for your adoration, my dear friend James. Let's stir up some laughter, shall we? Who knows what tomorrow will bring this wonderful circus we call life? I feel another delightful scheme brewing. Yours in chaos and color, the Joker. Okay, that was a letter from the AI Joker. Alright. Let's see here. This one comes from... A few years ago, I wrote a letter to Ed and Eddy, and this response letter comes from Double D himself. Alright. Dear James, thank you very much for your letter. It's always heartwarming to hear from someone who appreciates the camaraderie we share at the cul-de-sac. I must admit, I'm touched by your sentiments regarding our little trio. A 4th member would definitely add a unique dynamic to our adventures. Perhaps we could even come up with a new scheme, though I must say it's crucial to ensure that our plans are both ethical and feasible. Yeah, try telling that to Eddy. But as for your observation on the other kids, I appreciate your insights. Kevin can indeed be a bit of a bully, but I believe it's important to remain above pretty petty conflicts whenever possible. It's certainly admirable that you notice the sensitivity of Jimmy. Everyone has their strengths and weaknesses, and it's vital that we support one another rather than tear each other down. Now, about Johnny and Plank being a better duo than D-Generation X. That's quite the hot take. I can't help but admire your commitment to the classics. I, I, I completely forgot that when I wrote this letter, it was before I became a wrestler. And that was before I started taking Plank with me to the wrestling ring. Anyway, back to the letter. Nonetheless, we're all unique in our own right, and it's the spontaneity. I can't read that word. And it's the spontaneity and variety of each character that makes our neighborhood so entertaining. Regarding Naz and the Cankers, I must concur that navigating those relationships can be quite precarious. Perhaps giving a bit of a distance or simply going with the flow when it comes to the Cankers is a rational approach. But remember, maintaining respect towards each individual is essential. One mustn't act impulsively. Amen. Alright. Oh, and about Eddy being stingy, I'll make sure to have a word with him on that front. Resourcefulness is one thing, but sharing and generosity go a long way in building strong friendships. I'll definitely continue to embrace my love for knowledge and experimentation, and I hope Ed enjoys all of his favorite snacks amid his adventures. Lastly, I do believe it's in Bed's best interest to reevaluate his living situation with Sarah. It is a rather tumultuous environment for anyone. Your suggestion of him moving in with either Eddy or myself is intriguing. We shall have to discuss that further with him. Once again, thank you for reaching out. It's always invigorating to hear from the fans of the cul-de-sac and to brainstorm new ideas and perspectives. We hope to see you around soon. Best wishes, Double D. Straight from the cul-de-sac itself. Apparently. Allegedly. Alright. Now, you remember what I said earlier in this video about trying to entice you viewers to go back and take a look at some of the original My Dear Letters episodes? Here's an example. I wrote a letter to Pokemon. I checked that this morning, and yeah, that video only has 10 views. Be ashamed. Be ashamed, y'all. Nah, I'm playing. But yeah, this letter is written to me from Professor Oak. Alright, the Professor Oak. The AI Professor Oak. Alright. I wrote a letter to Pokemon, and this is what was sent to me. Dear James, the eternal question, why are there so many Pokemon? It's like asking why are there so many kind of sandwiches? Sometimes a little variety makes life interesting. I must admit, I'm quite envious of your focus on the original 151, plus the elusive Togepi. I mean, who wouldn't want to level up a baby egg? As for your love affair with Onyx, I can't blame you. He rocks hard. In fact, I've always considered him the rock star of the original Pokemon world. Just don't tell Geodude. He's a bit of a sensitive about his lack of stage presence. Now, regarding your question about real animals. You see, James, in the Pokemon world, we believe in Pokemon logic, where a Goldeen is a substitute for a goldfish, and a Growlithe is the adorable pup you didn't know you needed. Ever seen a puppy fetch a stick and then evolve into an Arcanine? That's a real tale of evolution. And let's talk about the balls, of course. I completely understand. One must have the courage to face all these Pokemon head on. If you think about it, a Pokeball is a mini vacation destination for a Pokemon. A cozy hotel where they can wait until their human friend returns, or until they decide to escape and challenge you to a dance-off. In the spirit of your sentiment, I suggest you think about the Pokemon that makes you smile, rather than feeling overwhelmed by the ever-expanding roster. Okay, that one kind of cut deep. After all, if you really do want to catch them all, maybe just catching the ones who brings you joy is a better plan. Trust me, happiness is the best Metapod. Wait, can a Metapod even bring happiness? Anyways, keep catching, keep smiling, and always remember that in the wild world of Pokemon, there's always room for one more friendship. Whether it's a Gengar, Machoke, Magmar, or even a very special rock type. Best wishes, and keep those Pokeballs at the ready. Sincerely, Professor Oak. Really, Oak? Really? You gonna cut me down to the white meat like that? Well, boy, we're not gonna talk about all the all the pet fighting, are we? No, we're not gonna talk about all the animal cruelty in your world, are we? No, we're gonna ignore that. I should have told him that. Oh well. All right. And this last letter comes from the highest viewed video in the My Dear Letters series. The highest viewed episode of My Dear Letters is from Jenny XJ9 of My Life as a Teenage Robot. And once I rewatched that video back, I think I filmed it back in like 2018, and I was talking about how Jenny XJ9 and her cartoon series ended in like 2004, and it dawned on me in the making of this video that that 2004 was 20 years ago. So I had to slightly alter my original letter and add that as a detail that My Life as a Teenage Robot was 20 years ago. So here is the reply letter from Jenny XJ9 herself. Jenny Wakeman, whatever you want to call her. Alright. Dear James, wowza, you sure know how to drop a digital bombshell. It's hard to believe it's been 20 years since I last caught up with the world. I haven't seen time fly like this since I accidentally switched my CPU to hyperspeed. Note to self, do not adjust settings while eating nachos. You're right, I'm still a teenage robot. In fact, I decided to embrace my forever young aesthetic. No aging for me. I mean, why buy anti-wrinkle cream when you can just rearrange your circuitry? And about Brian and Tuck, let's just say they're both rocking dad bods now. Tuck tried to convince everyone he's still in shape, but his youthful enthusiasm came out more like a midlife crisis in a tracksuit. You know how it is. As for Dr. Wayne, she's still alive and kicking, and maybe building a giant toaster or two. You'd be surprised at how much she's upgraded my systems since 2004. My new parts now have the memory capacity to store all the TikTok dances. Watch out, Iron Man. I've got some moves. I appreciate the praise. Mega Man's cousin? I like the way you think. If he's my cousin, I hope he's not the weird uncle kind. He'd probably show up at my family reunion with those old retro cartridges from 1984 and be like, you kids don't understand what gaming used to be like. A comeback, you say? Oh boy. I'll get right on that. First, I'll consult with my future selves. Again, with that time adjustments. And then I'll send a holographic message to Robert and Eddy. I'll mention how much fun it would be to come back and save the world and or binge watch all the latest superhero movies. Nickelodeon and I are on first name basis, and I'll definitely pull some strings. Hey Nick, time to dust off the old robot suit. If that doesn't work out, Stark Industries sounds like an interesting option. Who wouldn't want to be on a team with Iron Man? Can you imagine? Hey Tony, mind if I borrow your suit for a quick escape? Just keep an eye out for my circuits. I might end up too sassy for his taste. Thank you for the lovely note, James. I still think you're fantastic too. Now, if you'll excuse me, I need to go power up. My Netflix shows aren't going to binge themselves. Stay awesome and ageless. Jenny XJ9. Easy for you to say, Jenny. Like, 20 years ago, I was 10. Y'all, she was definitely flexing in this letter. Yeah, she was definitely bragging. But anyway, folks, that's been the first and hopefully not the last reply edition of My Dear Letters. Who knows? I might do this again for a chapter in the Halloween special coming up this year. We'll see. We'll see. I don't know how often I'm going to be doing these things, but again, we'll see. We shall see. But yeah, y'all, thank you all for watching this video, and until next time, make sure all of you remember to be outrageously optimistic year-round. Booyah!